Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are well and safe and looking after yourselves, that you're having a good day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day you're watching. I just can't believe how overgrown this part of the woodland is today. So I'm coming to you today from the woodland with Coco, and I thought I'd film a little woodland vlog. Even though it won't seem like that to you, it has been a really long time since I've filmed a woodland vlog because of how these videos have been dealt with in the past. I don't know when you'll be seeing this. I filmed one like mid-February, I think, that got uploaded just like a month ago. So it might be a few months until you see this. Essentially right now we are just past the midpoint of July. So we're going to be approaching Lunasa or Lammas if you celebrate either of those on the wheel of the year, but it's high summer essentially. Really, when we got to the summer solstice here, it did not feel like it was peak yet. It sort of feels much more peak now, and the weather here this year has been very, very cold and wet, which is quite good for the plants. So the land seems to be really fertile and lush, and that's great. So I wanted to talk today about healing, being on a healing journey, self-love, self-care, shadow work, all of those are so important to talk about these days. And I'm probably going to touch on some of the same things that you might have heard me talk about before. But I want to start by saying that when I approach video making on my channel in the past and still currently, I really want to make sure that whatever I prepare, whatever topic I'm going to speak about, I want it to be able to be of value and of service, to provide some sort of support for people who are watching. I feel like almost due to the nature of the things I'm talking about, there is something about these kinds of videos, the informality of them, that really works with the expression of that in a really authentic way. I am in a really difficult point in my life, really challenging. I don't want to go into specifics. It's obviously my personal life and some of it involves other people, but it's like every single area of my life is impacted greatly at this point. Every single area. There's not an area of my life that is not upside down right now. So it feels like a really raw time. And I'm stopping. I have to stop because of the Meadowsweet. So good. It smells like honey and elderflower kind of mixed together. I didn't take a lot just because, I mean, there's not that much there, but I got an overwhelming yes. Okay, so just like I said about talking about connecting to herbal allies and such, I think that being in this space really speaks to the topic at hand, and it just somehow feels really authentic and genuine to speak about these things here. One of the reasons why I wanted to just preface this video with this wanting it to be of value, but actually it has to just come out organically. However it's going to come out, it could probably be a mess. It just has to be that way because that's authentically the moment I'm in, and I'm learning to express that in a way that is just so true to me. And so it's going to be rambly. I know a lot of you who watch the channel like that stuff, so that's cool. If you're not here for that, then maybe you'd prefer one of the more talking heads kind of educational videos, so you can happily click over there. But also, if you're going to stay, I really do want to say as well, kindness is king, and kind comments please, even if you have constructive criticism or thoughts or ideas that you'd like to posit or differing opinions even, that's cool as well. I am here expressing my experience of life and my practice. I'm not like the be all and end all of every single piece of information or knowledge, and I never will be. I don't pretend that. So I'm not going to say something is fact and that's that over here. That's not going to happen. But I'm also not going to allow people to slide into my comments and leave judgmental, rude, unpleasant, unkind, cruel remarks about me either. And that has happened recently. So I won't be accepting that. Just be nice. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. I am doing my best to get back to as many comments as possible, but life is really busy. It's really tough at the moment, challenging. So I'm doing my best basically. But thankfully, because I'm a really small channel, I don't get exposed to a lot of people who are going to be needing that I get back to them straight away or demand demanding responses for things that I know some of the bigger creators do get. So I'm grateful for that as well. I'm really very grateful to you if you are tuning in and watching and you're coming back, you know, you're liking, subscribing if not already, and following and commenting and all that stuff. I'm so grateful to those people, especially to those people who, you know, I think there's like a reciprocity there and an actual understanding of each other and how we practice, and it's just lovely to meet like-minded souls within the community and to create connections, even if it's just an occasional hello and an exchange like that, or if it's more commenting more and then messaging more and getting to know each other more. That's lovely as well. But it's so nice to support fellow content creators, and I'm just really bolstered and buoyed up by that. It warms my little heart, so really grateful for that. So thank you if you are here with positive vibes. And I will just try and get into what I'm wanting to talk about. And I guess authentically, let's just be honest, I think I'm probably procrastinating right now with what I'm talking about, because yeah, it's hard. Oh my gosh, the self-heal. There's not a lot here. There's a little patch of self-heal and there's some there. Not a lot though. I'm just hoping I'll find like a bigger patch further up. I'd love to get some self-heal because I think I'd like to work again with some self-heal energetically. Probably not enough to use medicinally, and there's always dogs on this walk, so I wouldn't want to use it for a tincture or anything like that, I don't think, but energetically, yeah. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for some more self-heal. Prunella vulgaris. So I want to start by saying, if you haven't watched one of my recent videos about my chronic pain and chronic fatigue, you might want to go watch that as well first, because some of the things I'm going to say here I probably said there, and no worries if not. I was recently diagnosed with fibromyalgia because I experienced a lot of chronic pain and a lot of chronic fatigue, and it's an ongoing thing. I've had a lot of very bad digestive issues in my gynecological area. My health is really not good, and it's strange because I actually do, up until now, have had like a really healthy body, and I was subscribed to a gym a few years ago and went on this machine, and it said that my health was like a 15-year-old's health, which when you're nearly 40 that's pretty cool. But no, I've always been really active. I love to work out and to keep healthy and fit, watch what I eat. I've always eaten nutrient dense, nourishing foods, lots of fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and things, and not too much processed food. And obviously I love chocolate and things like that, but you know, my mum always said, because my maternal grandma always said, everything in moderation. And like, I think you can probably take even that comment to extreme, but everything in moderation. And so I have lived that way, you know, for a long time since I had my kids. But I do have some past history with disordered eating and body dysmorphia and stuff. So that is something that you never quite get rid of. But to be someone who can eat anything and everything, be in the world and be in my body, be embodied, bake with my kids, and it's really, really lovely. I was really proud of that. But yeah, here I am. The irony being, like, even as healthy as your body could be, you know, I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke. I should be as fit as a fiddle, but I'm not. And so I've had people say it could be this because I was suffering something like that. It could be this. And I do really, really appreciate those comments from friends and family and from people online and stuff. I really appreciate those. But then also at a certain point, it's quite overwhelming. And yes, it's a journey. There's stuff to find out. Like, have I got IBS and am I premenopausal, or is it something else? So at this current point, I'm waiting to have an ultrasound. I've been seeing a dietitian. I'm on a low FODMAP diet, which is really difficult to do, but I have to start reintroducing foods. It's basically to figure out what your trigger foods are. I constantly look about 9 months pregnant at the moment, and it's very uncomfortable. And living with that, plus the chronic pain and the chronic fatigue, is really hard. I also find that if I don't walk the day, if I don't get a good walk in, or if I don't get some form of exercise a little bit in the day, I struggle to sleep. Having to get up quite early for work at the moment, my body really, really struggles. Also wondering about neurodivergence and things because my daughter is, and I've always empathized a lot with her situation. Apart from obviously we've experienced some violence from her, and that's really difficult as a parent to go through. It puts pressure on my husband and I. There's a lot that goes into that, but also I understand that feeling because I felt like that throughout my childhood. But girls mask a lot. I feel like I'm always masking, and it's only with a few people and like here where I'm actually, I feel like I can be myself. Other than that, I'm masking all the time. And so being in a situation where I'm back in an office is really hard. And I think I said it in one of my previous videos, the Altar Tour video. Yeah, I feel like I constantly have to apologize for who I am, how I'm showing up, and just realizing like the real difference, the distinction between how I am with the people who love me and who I love and who I trust and how I am with other people who I don't trust or I don't feel safe with or I don't know, or in like a professional environment as well, a really different person. And it's not because I'm disingenuous, I'm very authentic and I still express what I think. I just feel this tension in my body, mind and spirit, and it's like emotionally as well, like just holding in all this stuff all the time. And so I want to go down that road to understand more about that because it's really overwhelming. There's been a lot impacting my life in the past few years. I've talked about that a lot. I've talked about shadow work that I've been increasingly getting on with and such, but I'm trying not to put things onto my plate. So there are 1,001 things that I want to study when it comes to the esoteric, the occult, spirituality, so many things I want to study more and deepen into more. Like, it's never enough. It's just never enough. I have so many books I still have to read and it's overwhelming, right? But then like when you have this like ongoing pressure in your mind, like you've got to do this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, it's just too much. I just feel like I'm going to explode or implode, probably implode. And I can't put that pressure on myself, but it's still something I need, right? I still need my practice, but it's just stripped way back into the sense where I'm catching myself, you know, I can't stop myself from that sort of desire to learn because I love learning. I can't stop myself from like, getting so excited about something that I've learned a bit about and then I'm going to learn more about, or that's something that's new to me or something that I really want to deepen into. Like I'm so excited about it and yes, I want to learn about it. But then like with that, it's like almost an insidious kind of pressure that comes with it because you don't notice it, but there is this sort of feeling of pressure of, you know, needing to, I want to learn it all and be a sponge to knowledge, which is kind of what I feel I've always been, like a sponge. I was like that at uni. I was like that when I was really young. And that's one of the reasons why I experienced so much religious trauma when I was exposed to a Baptist church. And because I let these opinions or the teachings of somebody else impact me. I'm definitely not like that now, but I still feel like, well, I'm not good enough unless I know this. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. That's all really low-key underground. It's almost like subconscious stuff, but I'm aware of it because I'm monitoring my physical responses and monitoring the thoughts that actually go through my head. And when you actually, like CBT wise, you know, cognitive behavioral therapy, if you're doing those kinds of exercises, I don't always do those kinds of things, but every so often I'll keep a journal, a diary, noting those things down. And when you notice, you know, you're getting heart palpitations. I don't get heart palpitations because I want to read a book on the occult, but I'm talking about like if my daughter is having a meltdown, I might end up, you know, starting to get heart palpitations myself and have physical responses to that. So if you are, say, taking time to note down some of the experiences that you're having in your life when difficulties come up, when stresses and strains happen, circumstances or situations that you can't control, you start to notice how you respond to things. It's actually kind of scary how many things are going on beneath the surface and how little control we actually do have over ourselves and our responses. And so being in that sort of mindful state is really powerful, and that's why the mindfulness, the breath work, etc. is like the thing that I keep. Look where I am. So I'm gonna just take a minute because I just want to dance in this field because I'm completely alone, and I feel like I can't do that in my back garden because there are houses and people can see, and I just don't feel like it's like genuinely me and I'm genuinely free if I can't just dance and no one see. I'm a poet and I don't know it, or I do know it and I'm absolutely, oh my god, this is embarrassing. This is going to be such an embarrassing vlog to upload. Stream of consciousness. Okay. I'm probably gonna just like put this down and then it's gonna fall over in the grass. So it's pretty special out here. So from where I left off, I feel that when you are actually paying attention to those programs that are going on behind the scenes and the stories, so the thoughts that are going through your head, the emotions that you're feeling, and impacting how your body responds. And you're monitoring that. It's actually wild, like how many things are sort of second nature, ingrained, pre-programmed, and by like starting with those, you can really kind of unpick them almost in a backward way, unwind them. That really has helped me a lot. And realizing, you know, just having little moments of realization and clarity.
I feel like this year is really about like the year of just realizing stuff, and everyone around me, we're all just like realizing things.
Every so often about different things, but one of the things being cuckoo, that I need more space, more time, just to focus on the here and now and the everyday. And because of the chronic pain, because of the chronic fatigue, because of the situation at home with my daughter, my family, my work, my entire life, I need to be able to just take everything back to basics. And that's not because I don't want to learn, and it's not because I don't have the mental capacity necessarily some of the time. If I'm trying to read something that's like really complicated and it's just taking a lot of energy, it's just too many spoons. And I did say I was going to do a video about witching with spoons. I don't think this could be it, but actually I don't know if there's anything else to say other than it is literally witching with spoons. So I downloaded this app about keeping your spoons, right? And so you have like 12 spoons a day. You allot how many spoons a certain activity will cost you, which it costs different things for different people. So getting up, brushing teeth might cost 3 or 4 spoons for some people. Me, I feel like getting up is probably 1 spoon. I think doing my makeup is probably more spoons than it used to be because it's a pain. But you know, I don't have to do makeup every day, so that's cool. But things like that, monitoring, I mean, it's good as an exercise just to figure out how many spoons a certain thing will take you. I was monitoring them for a while. This was maybe a month ago. I was monitoring them for a while and then realized it's taking too many spoons to keep up the recording of the spoons being spent. So I stopped recording the spoons, how I was spending them and how much they were and how I was replenishing them, because I feel like even if a meditation replenished a spoon, just the act of having to record that, it just took away another spoon. So then I'm like, well, this is just a waste of my brain energy that I could be spending on something else. But then I get stuck in that whole mindset again of like, oh, well, I have to be productive and I have to be using my time in the best way. Yes, helpful to kind of look at how many spoons something costs you and get a rough idea of it. So you know for yourself, okay, like this activity cost me a lot of spoons because of maybe certain emotional ties or experiences or stories that you've got going on, your history in your mind, certain things that might have happened to you, certain health conditions, mental health conditions, physical health conditions, disabilities, whatever. Something might cost you a lot more than it costs someone else, and it might cost you more than you thought initially, and that's definitely what I experienced. But then just the realization that, hey, this recording of spoons is an expensive, in terms of spoons, process. I'm not going to do this anymore. That frees up some brain space for something else. But also, I feel that if I was just to keep monitoring it, it kind of perpetuates this cycle within me that is natural, that's pushing me to always be productive, to always be using my time in the best way. Even on my days off, like today, I want to be doing the things that are nourishing for my body, and I'll list them. So meditation, getting out for a walk with Coco, doing some art witchery, reading, and I'll get to it and I'll be like, I don't feel like doing it. But that's because I put it down as something I need to do. And instead I just want to drop into the body. This is what I've been practicing more. I mean, I'm always dropping into the body, but dropping into the body with the intention that I'd be listening all the time as much as possible. And to stay mindful all the time is so hard. And that takes, as well, if we're talking in spoons, that takes a lot of spoons. But to stay in that body-mind connection, that takes work. That takes a lot. And to be in that awakened state, to be awake to the world. And again, we come back to that whole, like, how are you showing up? Where is your energy? What are you putting out into the world? What are you holding on to? What is not yours to carry? Come back to that, and that being like really important for a witch to understand. We come back to that because it's like, it's so hard to keep, well, so control of that. You can't keep control of that necessarily, but to stay mindful of it, to keep aware of it, to stay awake to it. Then to monitor your responses. But there are things that do help with staying as aware as possible. From what I found, those are are simple meditation practices. I'm not talking like an hour of like breath work with fancy mudras and then going into astral planes, and you don't have to do all that. You can, you know, I actually have found that my dream world has been very intense. I've been experiencing a lot of lucid dreams, been having a lot of astral experiences. A lot is happening there, and I can actually work a lot of magic there that I can't really do IRL, because end of the day, when I have maybe half an hour to do something, if I wanted to, I don't have the spoons. So I rest instead. But, you know, if you're a parent, you'll know that having any time at all to yourself is really a challenging thing. You know, it's not to be sniffed at, but when you have that limited energy, it's very hard to even apply it. I also don't want to exert myself. I do have spell work to do. I have spells to do, right? But I can't be doing them if my energy is so low that I'm like, this is going to be some janky spell. This is going to be some mess of a spell. And it's not going to have the desired effect, which is, I had this realization recently. So at the end of last year, I had this like drive, this massive drive. I was like, I need to make an oil for this, I need to make an oil for this and an oil for this. And those oils I've made in the past, I needed to make new ones. But I was like, I need a powder as well, and I need an incense. I need all these things and I need them ready. And I just knew. And so I just had this awareness that I needed them. I'm still using one of them. I haven't gotten to using the other ones yet because I'm still on one part of the spell process. I guess you could call it like a macro enchantment, like a campaign, a magical campaign. And it's not just one spell. A number of spells are needed. When those spells happen, it's like over a period of time because it requires energy. But in order for that to happen, I'm so glad I've made those oils and the incense and the powders ahead of time because I have them now. I've got like a pretty much fully stocked apothecary, like a herbal apothecary for magical work, and then an apothecary for the herbal preparations that I create for medicinal uses, so tinctures and oils for topical use, teas and things like that. I have the things that I bake with or cook with or make teas from. And I've needed that as well. I made my white willow bark tincture. It is incredibly effective for supporting with my chronic pain. I don't use it every day. I use it on the days that are so difficult to get up and move. But I've also noticed that when you don't move, if you're in a lot of pain and you're really, really chronically tired and you stay put, even just for a few hours, you will struggle the next day or immediately really with worse pain. Like that's how I've experienced it. That's how my chronic pain has been for me. So that's why, hence, staying active, keeping up like a fitness schedule. Always try to be as active and as fit as possible, but it's very, very hard to be wanting to build up your muscles when you're nearly 40 if you're then also worried that you're going to do more damage. I'm still strength training, but I'm doing it really carefully and just a couple of times a week. And I do experience aches afterwards. But then it's like it's very difficult to tell where the line is. Where's the distinction between the pain that is the natural muscle tears and repairing that a body would go through when they are strength training, when they're building strength, and what is the chronic pain? That's the challenging one. But I don't want to just not be active and not be building muscle at all. So my way of doing that is just doing it a couple of times a week, and another day I'll do body weight things, but that's almost harder sometimes, I think. So because I'm rambling a lot, I just want to go back to the point that I was trying to make. The things that I found to be helpful for staying in that state of awareness so that you can be more in tune with how your body is reacting and how you are showing up and the responses that you're having. One of the biggest things is meditation. But like I said, not big meditations. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a morning breathwork practice or a meditation of some kind. And you can build this into like yoga if that works for you, or whatever is your way of working. But I have found that just doing 5 minutes in the morning has really supported me. And then sometimes I'll do more later in the day, in the afternoon if I have a moment. And then before bed, I usually do a meditation before I sleep. And that meditation may be like trance work, maybe going into the astral. It really depends. Sometimes I'm asking for guidance, some signs, and deities, some spirits I work with. Sometimes the guidance will come straight away. Other times it will take a few weeks to come through, or it might just come through like months later. Now, other things as well that are just completely out of the blue happen. Guidance from people or spirits that you didn't ask for guidance from will come through. That throws in a wild card, and then you're like, I'll just puzzle over that for the next month or so. Head scratcher. And you get those too. So that's another reason why having a journaling practice is really good. And I'm not going to say I do it every day because I don't used to. And I've gone through, it goes like that. Journaling your dreams, so effective and so powerful for building up your practice of dream work, lucid dreaming, and astral work as well. It's really helpful, but not necessary. And I'm not doing that at the moment. I write down important dreams at the moment. But if you wanted to deepen into that, those are things you can do. Journaling in general, journaling any tarot spreads, pulling cards every few days, which is like a nice touch-in, recording encounters with spirits, experiences on the astral. So that time of breath work and time to meditate has really, really helped keep me calm, really, really helped me to stay aware and awake and kind of in the driver's seat as to what's happening in my body, and to stay as embodied as I can, and to notice, okay, so my body is starting to feel pain here, so like now I know that I don't have to just clench up like I would maybe if I didn't know what was happening. I know what's happening, and so I can embrace it. You know, I have awareness, I have knowledge, I've educated myself, so it gives you so much more power. And again, that point of like how you're showing up. Whilst you can't really control your kind of animal reactions, you can monitor them, you can be awake to them. And that's why it's really supportive. And the breath work is just lovely. Triggering that parasympathetic nervous system that I talked about in the meditation video with those somatic practices is so, so powerful. And I love those. So I'm continuing with those somatic practices. And usually it's just in the car, just before I jump out, because it only takes a couple of minutes just to do those somatic practices. Prayer. I've been leaning into a lot of prayer and faith, having faith, even as tiny as a mustard seed, because I have a very deep, inherent, innate knowing that I'm connected to the divine. And I do believe in a divine. I have that within my cosmological worldview and paradigm. I believe that I am one with the divine, that we are all one with the divine. Maybe I shouldn't be saying believe because someone will say that I'm wrong. These are the things I believe, right? And they work for me. I am polytheist because I believe that the different iterations of gods and goddesses are like people. They're like iterations of the divine whole. That's what I find true for me. Accessing the divine, the whole, can be done without working with any personified deity. I've lost my shoe. Don't want to step in. Poo. Okay, ow. So I believe that you can work with the divine whole without necessarily invoking a particular deity or working with a particular deity, personified deity. That can be done. You can go straight there because you are part of that, just like a god or goddess. And I don't believe that I need to worship either. I do have reverence though, there's a difference, and I believe in gratitude. The gratitude piece has been so powerful. Prayer, I've been leaning into prayer with Mother Mary because overwhelmingly throughout my life, Mother Mary has been the deity that has provided me with the most comfort. And I was never raised in a Catholic background. I grew up in a Church of England background. My parents weren't dogmatic, so we went to church sometimes. And then I went to a Baptist church at one point. Mother Mary, I always felt like was never really included in any of the lessons, and I didn't really understand why, because she was clearly quite a big character. Connecting to Mother Mary for comfort and support at this time has been so powerful. I have been praying to Mother Mary with the rosary, the Hail Marys, and that has been so powerful. And I've been doing that practice for years, but now it's like consistent. The gratitude as well, because I have so much gratitude for the life that I have, knowing, okay, that it feels like the tower has just crumbled and I'm still here trying to pick up the pieces, and I keep getting this download of like, just stop trying, stop worrying, stop trying, just let it be. And so I decided the other day I'm just gonna do that, because trying to pick up the pieces in all the different areas of my life and having this like worry about it constantly, it does not help. I am all in for spell work, but right now it's mostly like cleansing and protection and just presence, being in presence and having faith and that gratitude practice. And that's what I've stripped my practice right down to in the past few months, at least, because there's not been a lot of energy for it. But the fact that I do have those tools prepared for when I am ready for it is a really good thing. And I do think I'm getting that, because I think these are all the little things that need to happen before I'm ready for it. So again, it's like that awareness that you get, you know when it's the right time to be casting. And again, if you want to go see my spellcasting video, that explains a little bit more about that. Like, because it might not be the right time to be casting for whatever you want. And I know that I'm having to metaphorically kiss a few frogs right now. I can't see beyond like a few steps ahead of me, but I trust and I just know it's all okay. It's all good. Like I know it. But of course, inevitably, then every couple of weeks, it will be, you know, it's human nature to then be affected by it again. My daughter's having a meltdown and I'm in lots of pain and I'm feeling exhausted, like I can't get up. I might cry. But then just coming back to that state of neutrality and allowing myself to be where I am, like this moment does not have to be anything else. You don't have to change the fact that you're crying. You don't have to fix that. It just is. It is. Let it be okay with it. I'm okay with this now moment. Like everything that it is and will be is good. It's good. And it's what it needs to be. It's what it has to be. And I'm allowing myself to have, I'm allowing myself to have comfort in that. I'm allowing myself to take comfort from that and to just be in it. And I talk about that a lot as well, like giving yourself the grace to move through the emotions, to feel the emotions and let it out as well. Like when you're safe to screaming into a pillow as long as you don't, you know, hurt your throat, because that's so easy to do, really, like hurt yourself screaming into a pillow. It's okay. I am okay and I know I'm safe. Like, and then it goes back to that, like the gratitude is so much about the fact that, you know, I'm doing as much as I can for the Free Palestine movement. I'm being as active as I know I can be. I'm tuning in to Instagram and social media channels to support when I can. I'm signing as many petitions as I can. I am taking my business away from companies that are supporting. I am putting pressure where there needs to be pressure, and I'm not shutting up around the people that find me so bloody annoying because I talk about Palestine. I know a number of people in my life who do not want me to talk about this because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Because it makes them feel uncomfortable because they have very, very happy, comfortable lives. You know, I'm sure they have issues, but they have comfortable lives, you know, just like I do, generally. Comfortable life. They have children. They don't want to think about their kids when they see those pictures. I mean, none of us do. I'm not shoving pictures in front of their face, but I'm talking about it on social media and in groups, you know, where I'm not censored. I'm sending out the petitions to get people to sign them because it's so important. And I don't care if I lose friends. I don't care at all. I have actually lost some friends, but I've lost friends over the fact that I wanted to preserve and protect myself. I had a realization recently.
Just realizing stuff, and everyone around me were all just like realizing things.
I realized that for a very, very, very long time, I thought, and I still think, you know, to an extent, I do think there's something wrong with me, and that's why I've lost certain friendships. Something wrong with me. It's my fault. And I thought about these situations where these friendships were lost, friendships or connections were lost, and the circumstances around them being lost, overwhelmingly, in fact, all of those scenarios ended because I had to do something to protect myself or to stay away from trouble for myself, and that annoyed another person. It made another person feel really uncomfortable, really unhappy for some reason, really angry in some cases, that I needed to do this for myself. So taking myself out of a situation where I was being bullied, taking myself out of a situation that was dangerous for me, taking myself home when people wanted me to stay out, that lost me friends. Taking myself home alone when it's more dangerous for me to go home than it is for them to stay out in a group. They're mad at me. I lose friends because I'm taking myself home when I need to be at home because it's safe for me. It's that kind of scenario. And I'm like, those people just are not worth having in your life. They are not. And if someone is supposed to be your friend, but they have a problem with you doing something to protect yourself from harm, or something that is shielding you from some kind of pain or damage, or something that is protecting a boundary of yours, you know, looking after your mental health, whatever it is, that person is not a friend. If they turn around and it's a problem for them that you're not there or that you're not showing up in the way they expect, that is their problem. It is not your problem. And I realized I am not the problem. I was never the problem. I did have a problem with internalizing the way that those people reacted. So those people got angry, those people were rude to me, those people shouted at me, those people ghosted me, those people unfriended me, those people were nasty to me, nasty about me, those people spread rumors. Not all of them one person, but different people reacted differently. But anyone who's going to do that to you because you've done something to keep yourself safe, or to keep, you know, your mental health safe, or to protect yourself in some way, shape or form, or to do something that's good for you, is not a friend, and they are not worth in your life. And that is, oh my gosh, it's so fundamental, isn't it? And I'm like, whoa. I'm nearly 40 and it's taken me that long to realise that. I'm so much better off without those people in my life. And actually, I was like, whoa, I actually did have those boundaries. I thought I had a problem with setting boundaries. No, I never did. I had a problem with internalising the reaction that I got from people when I asserted those boundaries. I actually had a really, really healthy sense of self around that. But I internalised it and made my fault that they had a problem with me looking after myself. That was a big, big lesson. And I just feel like everything needs to be taken down, back to basics. Everything just needs to be stripped back. So I'm not going to say one thing and it be set in stone, because it's not, because something could change. Something always changes. Everything is always changing. And I'm just trying to go from moment to moment. I'm literally taking each day at a time. I have no expectations other than keeping myself and my family alive, you know, staying watered, washing, that kind of thing, and getting work done. And so I've also taken that burden off myself to attend to things that I don't necessarily need to be part of, or to respond to people who want me to respond like straight away. I'll just let them know, hey, I need some time. It's busy. I can't respond right now. But turning off the noise, tuning out a bit, it's really, really helping. And coming back every time. Breath work, meditation, prayer. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But even if you are like an atheist practitioner or an agnostic practitioner, secular, you can still pray. You don't have to pray to a god or a divine. You can pray to the universe if you want to, or you can pray to a divine law, nature, you know, whatever, wherever you find that peace if you want to. Or you can just say things out loud, just say things to the air. But for me, the meditation, the breath work, the prayer, and that gratitude practice, coming in together, wrapping it up in a bow, that's it really. And all that to say, like, just had these realizations, and just because it's a really hard world out there, and I am really grateful. I recognize my privilege every single day, working hard to make amends where I make mistakes, to recognize where I am falling short or making mistakes and taking ownership for that, trying to be a better person each day, but just also taking the pressure off. Like, I don't have to be here. Like, I don't have to be here right now. I don't have to be recording myself right now. Also, it's not all that important. What is important is that I look after my health, my family, and I continue working and stay okay day to day. And that's what I'm focusing on. So it really is as simple as that. And it's just that healing is happening. You know, I keep getting oracle cards that are like, you're not broken, the healing is happening, or the stop trying, it's here and now, you've got this, that kind of. And some of them are like really shadowy. I recently got the Austin Osman Spare tarot deck, the AOS, because I saw it on Giselle's channel. Oh my gosh, like, it is brutal. It is so brutal. So real and raw, and like next to some of the oracles. I recently got Dante's Inferno Oracle. That is not fluffy or light or loving. It's really, really hard hitting. And the AOS Tarot, same. It's really kicking me in the... Isn't that just kick you in the crotch, spit on your neck? Fantastic. I just love that. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. So I am going to say goodbye. If you did enjoy this ramble, then please leave me a like, share it with anyone else who you think this could support if they are going through something similar. I hope that you stay well and look after yourselves. Leave me a little fairy emoji in the comments and ask me any questions. You know, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I'd love to hear how you are and how you're doing, how you're coping with things, and how you're looking after yourself, because it's really hard at the moment. I really, really want you all to just take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and really just mind your energy, mind where that's going, and preserve that for yourself. You know, you are really, really important and valuable, and you need to look after yourself. So that's my one sort of takeaway that I would like you to take from this. If you'd like to support me further than just subscribing and commenting and liking and putting the fairy and all that, then I have a Patreon that's linked below. I also have an Instagram where I am less active than I used to be, but still active every week. I have an old TikTok page. That's where you can find me. If you need to DM me, you can, and I do read them and get back to people. So I am wishing you love and health, and sending you gratitude and healing, because I know how much healing is needed. So that too. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully I'll see you again soon in another video. Many blessings.